This is the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network, your number one source of information, education, and entertainment. For honest, responsible, and dependable information, we stand supreme. To stay focused, inspired, and relaxed, choose green.
Ekabo, and welcome to the Ifa Orisa tradition community discussion. I would open firstly by reciting the Ifa. Ope ni fun Olorun, Oludumare Oba Ajiki, Mojiloni, Moogun Meriaye, Iba Ila Orun, Iba Iwo Olorun, Iba Ariwa, Iba Gusu, Iba Oba Igbalye, Iba Orun Oke, Iba Baba, Iba Yeye, Iba Atiwo Orun, Ibashe Igungun Kiki Igungun, Ibashe Ori, Ori Inu, Ipori Atiwo Orun. All right. And for today's show, as with most other shows, we're going to discuss things that are of interest to members of our community. But I want to remind the viewers and re-emphasize that the emphasis of this show is to deal with basically the 8 essences of Ifa, and also to share with members of the community information that is of interest to our community and for the development of our community. All right, I'm going to just recap the 8 essences of Ifa, which is a thorough study of the ramifications of Ifa, shows that it is comprises of 8 basic essences, which are as follows. The spiritual essence. This relates to the place of man as a spirit in the cosmos, the power of matter, and all aspects of ontological evolution and development. 2, the divine essence. This relates to the methods of divination and accessing of esoteric information, the mechanism of divination and systematic methods of getting messages and their interpretation. Number 3, the religious essence. This relates to our faith, belief, catechism, and Ifa propagation or Ifagelism. Number 4, the worship and sacrificial essence. This relates to the meaning of worship, the importance of worship, sacrifices, and acceptability of sacrifice, clearance of sacrifice, passage of sacrifice, and the results of sacrifice. The medicinal essence. This relates to the use of herbal plants for various healing. This is both in magical form and materialist form. Note the oral word for Ifa could be used to perform all forms of healing and magic. The medicinal essence. The number 6, the historical essence. This looks at the history of creation, including the history of materialist, non-materialist, and the spirit world. Number seven, the scientific essence. This deals with the power of observation, axiomatic, astronomy, cosmology, cognitive and precognitive experience, astral science, physical science, logic, mathematics, natural science, and computer science. The cultural essence, number eight. This is what relates to rights, rituals, politics, socioeconomics, languages, dress, and normative value systems. All right, so this is what constitute the eight essences of Ifa. All right, now today I want to discuss a post that was shared uh, on many of the Facebook platforms that we teach Ifa Orisa tradition, as well as many of the different aspects of the tradition, the views, as well as a lot of the theories that relate to Ifa. All right. The post that I posted on the several platforms was from the Odu Ofun Otura. All right. Ofun Otura reads, the world will take away those who are liars, cheaters, and traitors. This is the sign of the cheater, the liar, and the traitor, the one who does not keep his side of the bargain. The liar throws obi and doubts. The traitor, or he who does not follow through on his word, throws obi and everything goes wrong. Obi only responds to he who is good. Ifa says, you have a dry head, a green head, and have a mass for an igun. Do not tell anyone your secrets, so they will hurt you. In conclusion, it says, do not be false or betray anyone. If you give your word, make sure you follow through, because this is the sign for the liar, traitor, and he whose word is worth nothing. Iku is the one who takes care of those people. All right. Now, I'm going to discuss for a little while this essay Ifa, as it is written very clear and very plain. There is nothing complicated. There isn't a bunch of hidden symbolisms here. This essay Ifa encourages those who are followers of Orunmila and those who follow the way of Ifa that they must practice a level of honesty as well as a level of integrity. All right, the very first line in this essay, Ifa of Ofunotura, says the world would take away those who are liars, cheaters, and traitors. Right? And in the very close, it says that Iku is the one who takes care of those types of people. All right. For those who may not have knowledge of Yoruba, Iku is the regent that visits persons and takes them back to Orun. Or, uh, in English, for those who are familiar with various concepts that come out of several of the philosophies in English, Iku would be what we call death. Okay? Now, beside this particular essay Ifa, there are numerous essay Ifas that supports this idea. And there are other essay Ifas that makes it very clear that the Orishas do not support people who practice dishonesty and deception. All right, the Orishas support individuals who practice honesty and exercises a great level of integrity. All right, let me read the next line. It says, "This is the sign of the cheater, the liar, and the traitor, the one who does not keep his side of a bargain." Now, when they talk about a person keeping their side of a bargain or an agreement, what they are saying is that you must be as good as your word. If you have made a commitment to carry out a particular thing, you should by all means make every effort to so do. This does not mean that every single thing that a person has made a commitment to, that they may necessarily always have success. However, what it does mean is that one should always aspire towards fulfilling whatever agreements that one make to the best of one's ability, so that other people will be able to depend on you, they will be able to rely on you, and they would always refer you to anyone else as being a person having a certain level of integrity. All right. Now, the third portion, or the third uh, paragraph or sentence, even if you want to call it that, says, "The liar throws obi and doubts." So, what they are saying is the person who lies, whenever they die or they do divination with the obi, they for some reason isn't convinced of what it is that is actually shown before them. All right. And it goes on further to say, he does not follow through on his word. He throws Obi and everything goes wrong. Obi only responds to he who is good. Okay. The Obi is a spirit, it's an energy. There's an energy associated to the Obi. And this energy, of course, works with individuals who are, according to this verse, right, the type of person who would follow through on their word. All right. So the Obi, of course, works when one is doing divination to provide some sort of a guidance to a person. Right. But for the person who is recognized as not the type of person who keeps their commitment, of course, the guidance that they would receive would not lead them to ire and prosperity. But here it says, when they throw the Obi, everything goes wrong, right? Because the Obi only responds to persons who are of good character, or what we know as Iwa Rere. All right. All right. The other line says, Ifa says, you have a dry head, a green head, and it is recommended that you have a mass for the Igun. So for a person for whom this Odu would have came, this would have been the recommendations, and the guidance would have been that they would have to recognize or have a ceremony for their deceased ancestors. When they refer to our mass, we are not Roman Catholics. We do not have mass, right? But the term mass is used because of the fact that the source of this particular Odu was from Coolidge, which is a Cuban author. All right, so he would use terminology and phrases with which most Cubans are familiar. And because of the predominance of the Roman Catholic religious practice in Cuba, the word mass is used, right? But normally, what we have is some sort of ancestral celebration for the veneration of those who are deceased. All right. The person for whom this was read, it was advised that they do not tell their secrets to others, as the intentions of others may be to cause them harm. All right. And the last part, this last paragraph says, do not be false or betray anyone. All right. So that is the admonition, one of the admonition of this particular verse. It encourages us to not be betrayers, not to our own brothers, and not to the people who entrust us. Do not be false. And these admonition goes across the board to everyone, not just to the average practitioners, but this goes to the leaders and it goes to every devotee, every Ifa devotee. You're encouraged to not be deceitful, not be false, and to not be backstabbing, and to not be a betrayer to your own people, to other devotees. This is not a good practice. All right? It says, if you give your word, make sure you follow through. All right? Because this is the sign for the liar, the traitor, and he whose words is worth nothing. Okay? Having a good character, iwa rere, right? And being one who practices omoluabi, all right, which is specifically, it outlines aspects of what is considered to be having an ethical character, all right? The last part of this verse says, right, that Iku or death is the one who takes care of such people, right? Now, there are many SAEFAs again that emphasizes on the importance of good character. And longevity was promised to those who would maintain and follow the laws of Ifa. Okay, so to live long, it is important that one has a good ethical character, as death visits those who are liars, deceivers, betrayers, and people who practices these forms of chicanery, things that are not good. All right. So basically, that is the lesson for today. All right. And the lesson was taken from Ofun Utura. And the lesson teaches one to have Iwa Rere, which is good character. All right. So I will now move on to shedding some light on educational opportunities for persons who are interested in learning about Ifa. So if you're an individual who are interested in learning, the African Indigenous Tradition Community have classes every Tuesday at the Barataria Community Center, which is opposite the recreation grounds on 6th Avenue. These classes are held every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Okay. We also have more programs like this one. This program is actually called the Ifa Orisa Tradition Discussion for the Community. We also have the Ifa Bemero show every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. where Ifa Orisa basics are taught. On a Sunday, we have the traditional herbal health show at 5 p.m. We have virtual classes every Wednesday at 6:30 in astrology and at 5 p.m. on a Friday also on etymology. All right, so these are the educational opportunities that are available for persons who are interested in learning more about Ifa. All right, other than this, we have several social media platforms where these videos, as well as other videos, can be viewed on the various platforms. I would now give you the names of several of the platforms on which you could actually view these streams, as well as many other, which provide some education on the issues concerning Ifa, the precepts, the concepts, the philosophies, as well as the Isheshe or the tradition. All right, the Ifa Bemero home of Ifa Orisa, the Ifa Orisa Institute of Sacred and Divine Sciences, the Traditional Herbal Health Network International, the Ifa Orisa Tradition Discussion Group, the Ifa Orisa Community Congress, the African Indigenous Tradition Community, the Orisha Baptist Medium Small and Medium Business Alliance, on the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network, on the Ifa Orisha Tradition Teaching Group of Trinidad, the Orisha Baptist Teaching Moments International, as well as on the Eonti Diasporic Ventures. All right. Beside being available on Facebook, we also have a YouTube channel where that is called the Ifa Bemero, home of Ifa Orisha tradition, where all of the videos can be found. We would encourage you, once you go on there, you can view, share, like, subscribe. All right. So with that, I would like to thank you for viewing this week's edition of the Ifa Orisha Tradition Community Discussion. Oda Bo, and we would see you next week.